At this time, I'll call the September 18th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Chester, Mr. Cho, Ms. Ashley, Ms. McLaughlin. Here. Mr. Roosh.
Here.
And Warmbrun.
Here.
And Mr. Welch.
Here. I believe we do have a quorum. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
This time, then, call for the approval of the minutes of the June 26th meeting.
I have one little correction. We have Harvey absent and attending. He was just absent at the top there. And after that, I'll move that we approve the draft of the June 26th, 2024 meeting.
I second that motion to approve with the friendly amendment.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of approval of the minutes indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The minutes are approved. Do we have any written communications?
The only written communications we received were public comments for the public hearing, which we'll talk about at that time.
Do we have any continued public hearings?
There are no continued public hearings.
At this time, then, I will swear in anyone who wishes to be heard tonight. You swear or affirm that any testimony you give will be true and accurate to the best of your belief. This time, then, I would call for hearing ZBA 2024 Major-01, a request by Brad Muncaster on behalf of Gary Luth, doing business as Illinois Farmhouse Alumni Association, for a major variance to increase the maximum floor area ratio from 0.50 to 0.73 at 809 West Pennsylvania Avenue, R7 University Residential Zoning District. Staff report, please. Yes.
Good evening, Zoning Board of Appeals members, and welcome to Bike to Work Day number 14 in the city of Urbana. On behalf of Gary Luth, doing business as Illinois Farmhouse Alumni Association, Brant Muncaster requests a major variance to increase the maximum floor area ratio from 0.5 to 0.73 at 809 West Pennsylvania Avenue. The Urbana zoning ordinance requires the ZBA to review the variance application and hold a public hearing. The board may recommend approval to City Council by a 2/3 majority vote, or recommend approval with conditions to City Council by a 2/3 majority vote, or deny the request. If the ZBA denies the request, it does not proceed to City Council. The board should either accept the specific staff findings or articulate their own specific findings based on the application's criteria. Staff recommend the ZBA forward a recommendation to City Council to approve the major variance with one condition. The 3-story brick house on this property was built in 1927. The original building was 9,950 square feet with an 1,100 square foot garage. In 1979, a 2,000 square foot addition was built and the garage was demolished for a net increase of 1,000 square feet. It has always served as a fraternity or sorority and is currently the home of the Farmhouse fraternity. The property owner would like to replace the exterior fire escape stairs on the Lincoln Avenue side of the house with an enclosed stair tower to provide both safer egress and improved interior circulation for residents. The building is already non-conforming with an FAR of 0.67, which is 34% higher than the maximum 0.5 FAR allowed. Building an enclosed stair tower would increase the FAR to 0.73, which would be 46% higher than the maximum allowed. The property is located at the southeast corner of West Pennsylvania and South Lincoln Avenues. So this is a 1973 aerial on the site with the garage, and I believe there might not have been a fire escape stair at the time, but it's hard to tell from the aerial. In 1988, the garage is gone, the addition was built, and it looks pretty evident to me that there was a fire escape stair at that time. The current site, this is a 2023 aerial. The fire escape stairs are a nice bright red, so you can see them pretty clearly. This is the location and land use map. Everything is blue, is institutional. In this case, that's things involved with the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Red is commercial, which also includes apartments. The apartments are classified by the county as commercial and not as residential. And then yellow is residential. This is university archives over here. That's why it shows as blue institutional. And these are also group homes up here, fraternities or sororities. The zoning, things in green, are the conservation, recreation, education, which is what schools and the university are zoned typically. We've got single-family dwelling, or single-family residential as R2 and also R1. And then we have the university residential R7 on these 4 properties. The future land use is university residential, this one red parcel, and there's another one up here. The light blue is institutional, and then the yellow is general residential. The applicant has been working with the property owner, farmhouse, on a master plan for modernizing this property. This round of renovations includes replacing the fire stairs with a stair tower. The current fire stair is usable but is exposed to the elements. The enclosed stair tower would eliminate the risk of slips and falls from rain and ice. According to the application, in general, fire escape stairs have fallen into disfavor for a variety of reasons. I'll let you read it yourself. And an interesting note, currently the second floor accesses the fire escape stairs by traversing across the single-story roof on the southwest corner of the building and then heading west across that roof connecting to the fire escape. We'll show you some pictures. So this is from the application. This is the proposed site plan. You can see the building here, parking, bike parking. The outline of the existing fire escape stair is this dotted line, and the darker shaded area is the proposed enclosed egress stair addition. You can see that setbacks would still be met. This is a close-up of that area. The blue is the outline of the existing fire escape stair, which includes the roof area that one traverses if you are trying to exit from the second story, and then getting onto the fire escape stair here. And then this is the proposed enclosed egress stair addition in green. This is the basement, and the proposed stair tower is here. This is the largest extent of it in a footprint perspective. There is a small storage area, but the stair tower has its own direct access from the living space. That storage area is kind of an extra little bit that was extra space created because when you get to the first floor, there's this space underneath that outcropping. It's kind of like the Harry Potter stair closet underneath the stairs. So again, this is the first floor. The blue area is the existing fire stair, and then this is the enclosed stair in green. The second floor plan, this is showing how you exit out this door across the roof to get to the fire stair. existing fire stair. And then now you see that the stair tower footprint gets a little smaller because that outcropping on the south end is no longer there. And then the third floor is the stair tower again. Here are the renderings provided. The shaded portion in blue is the proposed enclosed stair tower. You can see a bit here where they are attempting to work with design issues, matching, you know, the gable and all the architectural features that are there on the main building, adding windows that are attempting to match the windows of the existing building. This is a perspective from the northwest. You can see the main chimney here, the existing fire stair. You can see 3 parking spaces here. When you add on the rendering, they lose 1 parking space, but they have a surplus of parking spaces, so they are still meeting their minimum parking requirement. We've got the brick structure, we've got the trimming and architectural features added to the enclosed stair tower. Windows, this is an egress door. As I understand, it is not meant to be used as an entry door except by safety personnel. The applicants can confirm or correct that as necessary. And then here are some photos. So you can see here, this is the roof that you traverse to get to the fire stair. It would be open, you know, in the wintertime, in the rain, open to the elements at night. So they're attempting to provide interior access for both second and third story residents, as well as providing additional interior circulation between floors. It's not, again, not meant to be an entryway. Let's see. The increase in FAR would provide no additional livable space. It would be built in the same general location. If the variance is granted, the property would still meet all other development regulations, including minimum required yards and minimum required parking. The applicant did consider alternatives that were limited to the interior of the building's footprint, but those alternatives would have eliminated bedrooms, study areas, and common spaces. The applicant can provide more details about those alternatives as they were not detailed in the application. The zoning requirements for this property, and more specifically, lot coverage requirements, have changed several times over the decades. The original 1950 R1 zoning had no lot coverage regulations. From 1962 to 1977, the property was zoned R5, and there were still no lot coverage regulations. From 1979 to 1984, the property was zoned R6, which was high-density multiple family residential, which had a maximum 1.4 FAR. When the addition was built in 1975, the 0.67 FAR was still well under that. In 1985, the city created the R7 University Residential Zoning District, which at that time had the same FAR of 1.4, so the property was still legally conforming. Finally, in 1990, the city reduced the district's FAR from 1.4 to 0.5, which resulted in 23 of the 41 buildings on R7 zoned properties being rendered legally nonconforming. That's 56%. Section 11.3 of the zoning ordinance requires the ZBA to make findings based on variance criteria. The board must first determine, based on the evidence presented, whether there are special circumstances or special practical difficulties with reference to the parcel concerned and carrying out the strict application of the ordinance. The special circumstance in this case is that the building, which was legally conforming when it was originally built and when it was expanded, was rendered legally non-conforming by a zoning amendment passed over 60 years after it was built. To provide an enclosed egress would require either a variance or the loss of interior living space, the latter which would be a practical difficulty for the property owner. So staff find this criterion met. The situation in this case that is not generally applicable to other structures in this zoning district is that the vast majority of the other 22 buildings do not have an exterior fire stair which would exceed the allowed FAR if it were enclosed. So staff find this criterion met. The situation was not created by the petitioner, but by a zoning amendment passed 60 years after the building was constructed. So staff find this criterion met. Regarding altering the essential character of the neighborhood, the proposed stair tower's footprint is around 10% of the existing building. The stairs tower's location along Lincoln Avenue and the fact that it covers 2/3 of the wall would mean that it would be a highly visible change in the view to passersby. To mitigate this change, the applicant has designed the addition to blend into the existing building by using similar building materials, material color, and architectural features, including brick, stone accents, decorative cornice, parapet style, and windows. So going back to the renderings here. It will still be set back over 25 feet from the intersection, so it would not crowd the sidewalk or feel imposing to people walking by. Most of the R7 properties do not have exterior stairs, so enclosing one would not be out of character. The building's increased FAR may feel less out of character with the neighborhood as the neighboring Chateau Normand was approved with an FAR of 0.68. So staff find this criterion partially met. The proposed stair tower would not create a nuisance at this time or in the future. The existing function of the area in question would remain as an egress as it has been for almost a century. So staff find this criterion met. The requested variance represents generally the minimum deviation from the zoning ordinance's requirements to accommodate an enclosed egress for residents. The applicants invested other options through modifying the interior of the building. All of these resulted in an unacceptable loss of living space. So staff find this criterion met. Overall, staff find that 5 of the 6 criteria weigh in favor of granting the major variance and 1 weighs partially in favor. Staff published a legal ad in the News Gazette, sent letters to 28 property owners, and posted a public hearing sign on the property. And we received 1 comment in support of the request and 1 in objection to the request. And you have copies of those in front of you. The staff report includes a summary of the finding, and the ZBA has the following options in this case: a major variance to increase the maximum floor area ratio, to either forward the case to City Council with a recommendation to approve the variance as requested based on the findings outlined in this memo, or forward the case to City Council with a recommendation to approve the variance with certain terms and conditions, or deny the variance request. If the board elects to recommend conditions or recommend approval of the variances on findings other than those articulated just now, they should articulate their findings accordingly for the record. Based on the evidence presented, staff recommends that the Zoning Board of Appeals recommend approval of the proposed major variance in case ZBA 2024 Major 01 with 1 condition, that construction must be in general conformance with the attached site plan entitled Farmhouse Fraternity, August 809 West Pennsylvania Avenue, August 14th, 2024. And that's the end of the staff report. Brant Muncaster and Bridget Wakefield are here from Riefsteck, Wakefield, Fanning and Company to answer any questions. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Marcus. Any questions for staff? Go ahead.
The old fire escape, is it 1 person at a time or 2 people go down at a time?
I have no idea.
The new one, do you have any idea about it?
I will leave that to Brant and Bridget to answer, but I know that the stairs would meet building code. I'm not sure if it would be 2 side by side or single file.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Does the petitioner wish to be heard? Please come forward and sign in as well. Thank you.
Hello. There we go. So I can respond.
State your name for the record, please.
Brant Muncaster,
Thank you. Go ahead.
relative to the question on the fire escape, the fire escapes are allowed to be narrower than enclosed stairs, but it would end up being just a single stair, or just a single passage. The new stair, conforming with the new building codes, would be wide enough that two people would be able to go down it. So it would certainly be more safe.
Do you have any statements you would like to make? You answered the question. Do you have any statement that you would like to make?
No, I think Marcus covered it pretty well. Thank you.
Are there any additional questions for the petitioner? Thank you. Ma'am, do you wish to be heard, or is he covered it all? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Or any questions? I'm sorry. Then at this time, do we have any motions in regard to this proposal?
I move to approve the proposed major variance, ZBA 2024 Major 01, with the condition that construction must be in general conformance with the attached site plan, attachment 1 in our documents here, based on the findings of the staff report.
Thank you. It's been moved. Is there a second to that?
A second.
Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, then I believe I'm ready for a vote, which I believe would require affirmative vote of 3 to pass the motion on to the city council. So, roll call, please.
Ms. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Roosh,
Yes?
Warmbrun,
Yes.
Mr. Welch.
Yes, that motion carries with the necessary votes to make it eligible to be passed on to the city council for their review. At what meeting?
It will be discussed at Committee of the Whole on October 7th, and then hopefully go to City Council on October 14th.
Okay, thank you. Is there any old business, Marcus?
No old business.
Any new business?
No new business.
We have no audience, so there's no audience participation. Is there any staff report?
The only thing I would like to report on is some results from actions that the ZBA has taken. On 408 West Main Street, the new duplex has been constructed that had a major variance granted, I think for FAR and maybe some yard setbacks. So on your way out tonight, if you drive up West Main Street, there's a nice two-story baby blue vinyl-sided duplex ready for somebody to live in. As well as you might remember, a request at 312 West Illinois, where there was a conditional use permit asked for a duplex in an R2 zoning district with like 6 variances for FAR and open space and 2 yard setbacks. We received a building permit application to demolish the building, and then the plans that were submitted met all of the requirements of the zoning ordinance. So, you know, it's not built yet, but the building permit application has been submitted. So, way to go.
Do you have any update on the court case that we discussed the last time that I was
No.
here?
I don't. I will check in with Kevin and see if he knows anything about that, or we can check in with our new city attorney, Matt Rushley, and see, you know, if that's proceeding or where it's sitting or what.
And then the bylaws?
We have not started looking at our bylaws for this, so we could start doing that. I'll check in with Kevin. Do you have any things that you think need tweaked in that? Or, I mean, I imagine.
Well, we discussed this, who knows when, but sometime, let's say February or January, and I think we were told that we were waiting for the new city attorney to get here to do this. And I think you did the planning commission's new bylaws prior to that. And
We've done Historic Preservation Commission, and those are ready for the city attorney to review.
I still have a real issue with, I guess, non-attendance of board members.
Okay.
Some policy involving that. And then just, we're supposed to look at them every 2 years, and we haven't looked at them in probably 4 or 5.
Okay. Would you like that to be an agenda item for the next CBA meeting?
Yes, please, whenever that may be.
So I'll follow up on that and look at other tweaks that might need to be made. I know the hope is to, you know, in as much as we can with state law for different kinds of boards and commissions, we would like the language of the different boards and commissions to be somewhat similar. So say the attendance policy should be equitable and consistent between all the boards and commissions. But if it is poor for all of them, then maybe they all need to be looked at. But
Well, I don't think there's to me, in none of these that I've read, there's a disqualification. So I don't know how somebody could get disqualified for any particular reason. And maybe I'm wrong there. I mean, can the mayor just say, if you get a new mayor, can the mayor come in and clear out the whole board? He can't, right? Because people are appointed to a certain year.
Right. I'm
Right.
looking at attendance, and certainly, Terry, if you know offhand what the ZBA's attendance policy is.
Well, we don't have a policy. It's not in there currently.
Yeah. All right.
If I may also ask, can you tell us what the current terms are and when each member's term is up, if you happen to have that information available?
Oh, what each member's terms are?
Yeah.
Terry, do you have that? Okay.
So Joanne was just reappointed this year, and her term expires June 30th of 2027. Matt Cho, his term expires board members, ZBA members serve 5 years, so I'm wondering why Joanne's was only for 3. Anyway, Matt Cho's he was last reappointed in 2020, and so his term expires in 2025. Ashley's Ashley was reappointed in 2023. Your term expires in 2028. Adam, your term was reappointed in 23 as well and expires in 2028. Nancy's was reappointed in 2020 and will expire in 2025. Charles, yours was reappointed in 2021 and will expire in 2026. And Harvey, yours was in 2020, reappointed, and will expire next year in 2025. They try to stagger them so not all of your terms expire in the same year.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Is the ZBA the only one that has 5-year terms that you know
I
of?
believe so.
Okay. Any other?
So we could send you some suggestions if we
Yes,
had them, just
yes,
email
and-
them to
and
you all.
Send them directly to me or to Terry, not to each other.
Okay.
Are there any additional concerns or questions need to be addressed? No study session, is there, Marcus?
No, there's not.
Then at this time, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Adjourned at 7:32. Thank you.